Captain Do-hyun Kim stood on the bridge of the HSS Dauntless. The ship was quiet. The crew worked at their stations. No one spoke much. Their job was to patrol the edge of human space. It was usually boring work. Today was different. "Captain, we have an incoming transmission," said Lieutenant Jiwoo. Her fingers moved quickly over her screen. "It's from the Ralvaxian ambassador." Do-hyun raised an eyebrow. The Ralvaxians were one of the oldest alien races in the galaxy. They rarely spoke to humans directly. The containment treaty from 3,000 years ago meant that humans stayed in their small corner of space and everyone else left them alone. "Put it through," Do-hyun said. He straightened his uniform and took a deep breath. A large hologram appeared in the center of the bridge. The Ralvaxian ambassador was tall and insect-like. His green exoskeleton gleamed under the lights of his own ship. His forearms were crossed in what humans had learned long ago was a sign of superiority. His mandibles clicked as he began to speak. "Captain Kim of Earth," the ambassador said. His voice translator made his words sound flat and cold. "I bring a message from the Galactic Council." Do-hyun nodded politely. "I'm listening, Ambassador." Behind the hologram, Do-hyun could see several more Ralvaxian ships dropping out of hyperspace. Then dozens more. Then hundreds. A massive fleet was gathering. The ambassador's compound eyes seemed to shine with excitement. "The containment treaty is over. The Ralvaxian Empire, with the blessing of the Galactic Council, officially declares war on humanity." No one on the bridge gasped. No one panicked. Lieutenant Jiwoo actually had to cover her mouth to hide a smile. The ambassador continued. "For 3,000 years, your kind has been trapped in your tiny sector of space. Your technology has fallen behind. You have forgotten how to fight, how to win. You will surrender immediately, or face total destruction." Do-hyun's lips curled into a small smile. "Ambassador, I will relay your message to Earth Command, but I strongly suggest you reconsider while there's still time." The ambassador's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of anger or perhaps amusement. "You face the most powerful fleet in the galaxy, human. What could you possibly do against us? Your species has been contained for 3 millennia. You are nothing but a forgotten remnant of a once dangerous race." Do-hyun kept his voice calm. "Is that what they told you? Interesting." The hologram flickered as more alien ships arrived. There were now over 1,000 Ralvaxian warships facing the single human vessel. "You have 1 Earth day to begin your surrender process," the ambassador said, "or we will show you what real power looks like." The transmission ended. Commander Minji Lee walked up to stand beside her captain. "Well, that was unexpected." Do-hyun turned to her. "Was it? Intelligence said they've been building up their fleet for months now." "Should we activate the defense grid, sir?" Minji asked. "Not yet," Do-hyun said. "Let's see if they remember why the peace treaty was created in the first place." He looked at the massive alien fleet through the view screen. "Send a message to Admiral Sunwoo. Code Omega. The containment is broken." Minji's eyes widened slightly. "Yes, sir." She hesitated. "Sir, do you think they really don't know?" Do-hyun shrugged. "It's been 3,000 years. Maybe their historians got it wrong. Maybe their leaders lied to them. Either way, they're about to learn the truth." "They think the containment was to keep us in," Jiwoo said from her station. "They have no idea it was to keep them safe from us." On the main screen, they could see the Ralvaxian ships moving into attack formation. Their weapons systems were powering up. "Battle stations," Do-hyun ordered calmly. "But do not power weapons, not yet." The crew moved with practiced ease. No one seemed worried about the alien armada that outnumbered them 1,000 to 1. "Sir," said the communications officer, "we're receiving transmissions from the outer colonies. The Ralvaxians are attacking civilian targets." Do-hyun's smile faded. "Casualties?" "None, sir. The colonies were evacuated last month just as you ordered. The Ralvaxians are only destroying empty buildings and automated defenses." Do-hyun nodded. "Good. Keep monitoring their advance. Let them think they're winning. Captain, Minji said quietly. The crew is asking if this means the silence is over. Do-hyun looked around the bridge. His crew was young. They had all been born during the containment years. None of them had ever seen actual combat against aliens. None of them had seen what humanity was truly capable of. Yes, he said finally. The silence is over. After today, the galaxy will remember who we are. A young officer named Hana approached. Sir, I've studied the old war records, but there's something I don't understand. If we were so powerful 3,000 years ago, why did we agree to be contained in the first place? Do-hyun looked at her thoughtfully. Because we won, Ensign. We won so completely that it scared us. The weapons we used then... He shook his head. The death toll on both sides was unimaginable. When we developed tech that could destroy entire star systems, we chose to stop. We asked for the containment. So we trapped ourselves? Hana asked, confused. No, Do-hyun said. We chose peace when we could have chosen conquest. There's a difference. The ship's AI announced, incoming transmission from Earth Command. A new hologram appeared. Admiral Sunwoo Kang looked serious but calm. Captain Kim, your report has been received. The Lazarus Protocol is now active. All fleet elements are mobilizing. The Ralvaxians have given us 1 day to surrender, Admiral. Do-hyun reported. Admiral Sunwoo almost smiled. 1 day is more than enough time. The dimensional gates are opening as we speak. The real fleet will be with you in 6 hours. And my orders, ma'am? Stay alive. Keep their attention on you. Make them think they're facing just one outdated patrol ship. The Admiral's expression hardened. And, Captain? Remember the Prime Directive? Do-hyun nodded solemnly. Minimum casualties. No extinction events. I remember. When the transmission ended, Minji looked at her captain. They really have no idea what's coming, do they? No, Do-hyun said. They think we've spent 3,000 years rotting away inside our little corner of space. They think the treaty kept us weak and isolated. He looked at the stars beyond the view screen. They're about to learn what we've really been doing all this time. On the screen, more Ralvaxian ships were arriving every minute. Their weapons were now fully charged. Their engines glowed as they prepared to advance. The HSS Dauntless floated alone against the massive alien armada. To the Ralvaxians, it must have looked like a small, helpless target. Do-hyun smiled. He felt almost sorry for them. Now we wait, he said. In 6 hours, they'll learn why the galaxy once feared us enough to lock us away. Lieutenant Jiwoo checked her instruments. Sir, they're moving into attack position. Let them come, Do-hyun said calmly. The hunters have forgotten that they once begged to be protected from the prey. The Ralvaxian ships began to move forward, their weapons locked on the single human vessel. Behind them, the stars continued to shine, unaware that the 3,000-year peace was about to end in a way no one had expected, except, perhaps, for humanity. Grand Admiral Zarkon stood on the command deck of the Ralvaxian Glory, the largest battleship ever built by his people. Around him, his officers watched data screens showing the human colonies falling one by one. Another victory, Admiral. His second-in-command reported. The human defenses on Proxima Colony have been destroyed. Their ships are retreating from every front. Zarkon's mandibles clicked with pleasure. Excellent. How many human casualties? Strangely, almost none, sir. Their colonies seem mostly empty, but their military bases and defense systems are falling easily. The Admiral waved a clawed hand dismissively. They must have evacuated when they saw our fleet gathering. It makes no difference. Soon, we will reach their homeworld. A young officer approached, bowing low. Admiral, we have captured some human data cores from their outpost on Tau Ceti. Our analysts say they contain military information. Zarkon's compound eyes gleamed. Show me. A hologram appeared, displaying human ships and weapons. They looked almost primitive compared to the Ralvaxian fleet. Is this current data? Zarkon asked. Yes, Admiral. It seems the humans have indeed fallen behind during their containment. Their ships still use fusion drives. Their weapons are based on plasma technology we abandoned centuries ago. Zarkon laughed. a harsh clicking sound. The council was right. Containing them was the perfect strategy. Now, after 3,000 years, they are easy prey. Meanwhile, deep beneath Mount Pektu on Earth, the real Human Defense Command was fully operational. Admiral Sunwoo Kang studied the holographic display showing the Ralvaxian advance. "They've taken the bait," she said to the assembled military leadership. "All of it." General Hyunbin Cho nodded. His gray hair and lined face showed his age, but his eyes were sharp and alert. "Every colony they've conquered was evacuated months ago. The defenses they faced were old models we stopped using decades ago." A young intelligence officer, Captain Jia Yoon, stepped forward. Her uniform was crisp and her posture perfect. "Admiral, the Ralvaxians have now committed 87% of their fleet to the invasion corridor we designed. They believe we're running scared." "And our real fleet?" Admiral Sunwoo asked. "Hidden in dimensional pocket space as ordered. The Ralvaxians have no idea they exist. Over 10,000 ships ready to emerge at your command." Admiral Sunwoo walked slowly around the holographic map. The Ralvaxian fleet was shown as red dots, moving steadily toward Earth. They followed exactly the path humans had planned for them. "I was there, you know," she said quietly. "When the original treaty was signed 3,000 years ago, I was just a junior officer then." The others in the room looked at her with respect. Life extension technology was common now, but few chose to live quite so long. "The aliens begged us to sign that treaty," Sunwoo continued. "After what our weapons did to the Centauri system, after we showed what we could really do, they were terrified of us." General Hyunbin frowned. "Then why did we agree to be contained? We could have ruled the galaxy." "Because we were horrified too," Sunwoo said simply. "Winning that war cost us millions of lives, and it cost the enemy billions. We had weapons that could destroy stars. We had become monsters." She shook her head. "We chose to contain ourselves, to focus on defense, not attack, to build, not destroy." A communications officer called out, "Admiral, Captain Kim reports the Ralvaxian fleet is accelerating toward Earth. Their main force will be here in 36 hours. Admiral Sunwoo nodded. "Then, it's time. Activate the Lazarus Protocol. All ships to dimensional exit points. Prepare defensive systems only. I want minimum casualties." Captain Jia looked confused. "Ma'am, with our technology, we could destroy their entire fleet in minutes. Why hold back?" The Admiral's eyes showed her age now, and the wisdom that came with it. "Because we're not fighting to win anymore, Captain. We're fighting to teach. The Ralvaxians need to learn why the treaty was created. And they need to survive the lesson." Back on the HSS Dauntless, Captain Do-hyun Kim and his crew had been playing a dangerous game. For the past 24 hours they had stayed just ahead of the Ralvaxian vanguard, appearing weak and frightened. "Another hit to our rear shields, Lieutenant," Ji-woo reported calmly. "They're still falling for it." Do-hyun nodded. Their ship had the most advanced defensive systems in the human fleet, but they were pretending to be damaged and running scared. "Status of the dimensional gates?" he asked. Commander Minji checked her screen. "All gates are in position. The real fleet is ready to emerge on your signal." Do-hyun looked at the tactical display. The Ralvaxian ships were chasing them, thinking they had an easy kill. Behind the aliens, dozens of human colonies now sat empty, conquered by an enemy who didn't realize they were being played. "Send the coded message to all human ships in the sector," Do-hyun ordered. "Operation Looking Glass begins in 6 hours. Young Ensign Hana looked nervous but excited. "Sir, I've studied the technology we'll be using, but I've never seen it in action. Will it really work against so many ships?" Do-hyun smiled at her. "Ensign, humanity hasn't been sitting idle for 3,000 years. While the galaxy thought we were contained and weak, we were building and inventing. The dimensional technology alone would seem like magic to the Ralvaxians. But if we had all this power," Hana asked, "why didn't we break the treaty sooner?" "Because we chose not to," Do-hyun said simply. "Peace was better than war. Building was better than destroying. We stayed in our corner of space because we wanted to, not because we had to. His expression hardened. But now they've broken the peace. They need to learn why that was a mistake. A warning sounded on the bridge. 3 more Ralvaxian battleships had just dropped out of hyperspace directly in their path. They're trying to trap us, Minji said. Do-hyun nodded. Good. That's exactly where we want them. He pressed a button on his chair. All hands, prepare for dimensional jump on my mark. The Ralvaxian ships moved closer, their weapons charging. They thought they had cornered a wounded animal. They had no idea they were exactly where humans wanted them to be. Do-hyun waited until the last possible moment. Now! The Dauntless seemed to flicker and then vanish completely. The Ralvaxian ships fired at empty space. On the Ralvaxian flagship, Grand Admiral Zarkon was furious. What do you mean they disappeared? Ships don't just disappear. His science officer looked confused. The human vessel was there, then it wasn't. Our sensors show a strange energy reading, but nothing we recognize. Zarkon slammed a clawed fist down. Find them. They must have some kind of cloaking technology. Sir, another officer reported, our main fleet will reach Earth in 36 hours. Even if this one ship escaped, the human homeworld will soon be ours. The Admiral calmed himself. Yes, you're right. One ship matters little. Soon we will stand victorious on the humans' world, and the galaxy will remember the glory of the Ralvaxian Empire. His officers cheered. None of them noticed the small anomalies appearing on their long-range sensors. None of them understood what was about to happen. The Dauntless reappeared near Earth, well ahead of the Ralvaxian fleet. Captain Do-hyun opened a channel to Earth Command. Admiral Sunwoo, the enemy took the bait. They believe they have us on the run. Their entire fleet is heading straight for the Dimensional Gate Network. Admiral Sunwoo's voice came through clearly. Well done, Captain. Return to Earth for final preparations. When the Ralvaxians arrive, they'll find out what humanity has really been doing for the past 3,000 years. As the Dauntless headed toward Earth, its crew could see the planet's true defenses activating. They were nothing like the old, outdated systems the Ralvaxians had destroyed on the outer colonies. These were the product of 3 millennia of peaceful advancement. Technology focused on protection, not destruction. Humanity was ready. The trap was set. And soon, the Ralvaxians would learn that declaring war on humans had been the worst mistake they could have made. Grand Admiral Zarkon stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching as Earth came into view. The blue-green planet looked small and vulnerable. His massive fleet surrounded it completely. Scan their defenses, he ordered. His officers worked quickly, at their stations. Admiral, we detect only basic orbital platforms. Their defensive grid appears minimal. No sign of a major fleet. Zarkon felt a wave of satisfaction. They've hidden their ships, or perhaps they never had many to begin with. He clicked his mandibles in amusement. Open a channel to their leaders. On the main screen, the face of Admiral Sunwoo Kang appeared. She looked calm, almost bored. This is Grand Admiral Zarkon of the Ralvaxian Empire, he announced proudly. Your outer colonies have fallen. Your ships have fled or been destroyed. Surrender your planet now, or face complete destruction. Admiral Sunwoo looked at him for a long moment. Admiral Zarkon, I'm curious. What do your history books say about why the containment treaty was signed 3,000 years ago? The question caught Zarkon off guard. Everyone knows the humans were defeated in the Great War. The treaty was to keep your dangerous species contained. Sunwoo smiled slightly. I see. That explains much. She leaned forward. Admiral, I was there when the treaty was signed. I am over 3,000 years old thanks to our medical technology. Let me tell you what really happened. Zarkon laughed. Your lies will not save you, human. Not lies, Admiral. History. Your real history. Sunwoo pressed a button. Let me show you. The screen split to show historical footage. It showed human ships from 3,000 years ago facing an alien fleet. The human ships were far fewer in number, but when they fired their weapons, entire enemy battle groups simply vanished in blinding light. This was the Battle of Proxima Centauri, Sun Wu explained. We lost 42 ships. The combined alien forces lost over 8,000. And then we deployed our Star Killer weapon. The footage showed a small device launching from a human ship. When it reached the star at the center of the battlefield, the sun began to collapse in on itself. We created an artificial black hole, Sun Wu said quietly. It destroyed the star and every ship in the system. Over 1 million sentient beings died in an instant. By our hand. Sarkon's mandibles stopped moving. His officers stared at the screen in shock. We won that war, Admiral. Sun Wu continued. We didn't lose it. We could have conquered the galaxy, but the cost horrified us. We asked for the containment treaty to give us time to develop a better way, a way to defend without destroying. Sarkon found his voice. These are tricks. Fabrications. Are they? Sun Wu looked sad. Check your own sealed archives. Ask your oldest leaders. They know the truth. She straightened her shoulders. But enough talk. You've broken the treaty. Now you'll see what humanity has really been doing for 3,000 years. She pressed another button, and the transmission ended. Sarkon was about to order an attack when one of his officers shouted, Admiral, energy readings all around us, thousands of them. In the space around Earth, the fabric of reality itself seemed to tear open. Thousands of brilliant points of light appeared, growing larger by the second. From each tier emerged a human ship, but nothing like the outdated vessels the Ralvaxians had faced in the outer colonies. These ships gleamed with strange energy fields. They moved with impossible speed and precision. There were thousands of them, then tens of thousands, far more than should have been possible for a contained civilization to build. On the bridge of the HSS Prometheus, the largest human vessel, Captain Do-Hyun Kim opened a channel to all Ralvaxian ships. Admiral Sarkon, perhaps your historians failed to properly explain why the Galactic Council agreed to the containment treaty. It wasn't to contain us. It was to protect you. Commander Minji Lee stood beside Captain Do-Hyun on the bridge of the Prometheus. The ship was massive, nearly 10 times larger than the Dauntless they had used as bait. Its hull shimmered with quantum shielding technology. All vessels report Athena combat intelligence fully integrated, Minji reported. Quantum shields at maximum. Dimensional displacement drives online. Lieutenant Jiwoo studied the tactical display. The enemy fleet is attempting to regroup. Several ships are turning to flee. Do-Hyun nodded. Too late for that. He pressed a button on his command chair. All ships, activate the Eden Protocol. Non-lethal containment only. Remember, we're not monsters. The human vessels moved in perfect coordination, guided by advanced artificial intelligence. They didn't fire destructive weapons at the Ralvaxian ships. Instead, targeted energy pulses disabled their engines and weapon systems, leaving the crews alive but helpless. Small groups of Ralvaxian ships tried to fight back. Their weapons, powerful by galactic standards, couldn't penetrate the quantum shields of the human vessels. Sir, Jiwoo called out. The Ralvaxian flagship is attempting to charge their main weapon. Target their power core, Do-Hyun ordered. Disable only. A pulse of blue energy shot from the Prometheus. It passed right through the Ralvaxian shields as if they weren't there. The alien flagship's lights flickered and went out. Within 30 minutes, the entire Ralvaxian invasion fleet hung motionless in space, their systems disabled but their crews unharmed. All enemy vessels contained, Minji reported. No casualties on either side. Do-Hyun nodded with satisfaction. Open a channel to Admiral Sun Wu. The Admiral's face appeared on screen. Well done, Captain. A textbook demonstration of our defensive capabilities with minimal harm. Thank you, Admiral. What are your orders regarding the Ralvaxian crews? Prepare to board their flagship. It's time for some proper education in history. Sun Wu's expression was stern but not cruel. The rest of their fleet will remain disabled, but with life support functioning. Once their leaders understand the truth, they can decide what happens next. In the Galactic Council chambers, the elder races watched in stunned silence as the battle, if it could even be called that, unfolded on their view screens. Impossible, whispered a Dromedarian representative. The humans were contained. Their technology should be centuries behind ours. An ancient Thulian, one of the oldest beings in the galaxy, shook his head slowly. We lied to ourselves. We rewrote history. We told ourselves the treaty was to contain a dangerous species. His voice trembled. But some of us remember the truth. The humans could have destroyed us all 3,000 years ago. Instead, they chose mercy. And now? Asked a younger council member. Now, said the Thulian, we must hope they choose mercy again. Back on the Prometheus, Captain Do-hyun prepared to lead a delegation to the Ralvaxian flagship. Commander Minji and Dr. Yunha, humanity's chief xenohistorian, would accompany him. Remember, Do-hyun told his team, our goal isn't to humiliate them, it's to educate them, to show them why peace is always better than war. As they boarded the shuttle, Ensign Hana approached Captain Do-hyun. Sir, permission to join the delegation. I've studied Ralvaxian culture extensively. Do-hyun considered for a moment, then nodded. Granted, Ensign. This is history in the making. You should be part of it. The shuttle departed the Prometheus, heading for the darkened Ralvaxian flagship. As they approached, Do-hyun looked out at the disabled alien fleet. Thousands of ships rendered harmless without a single life lost. 3,000 years ago, he said quietly, this battle would have ended with millions dead. Today, we showed them a better way. Dr. Yunha nodded. The question is, will they learn from it? Do-hyun watched as the Ralvaxian flagship grew larger in the view screen. They have to, for all our sakes. The shuttle docked with the alien vessel. It was time for the truth to be told, for history to be corrected. And perhaps for a new peace to begin, one based on understanding rather than fear. The shuttle docked with the Ralvaxian flagship. Captain Do-hyun led his small team through the dark corridors. Emergency lights cast an eerie glow. The alien crew watched them with fear and anger in their compound eyes. Do-hyun and his team were unarmed. They didn't need weapons. Their technology was protection enough. They reached the bridge. Grand Admiral Zarkon sat in his command chair. He tried to look proud, but his mandibles twitched nervously. You have disabled my fleet, Zarkon said. His voice translator made him sound calm, but his body language showed his fear. What happens now? Do you destroy us? Take us as slaves? Do-hyun shook his head. No, Admiral. We're not here to harm you. We're here to talk. Zarkon's compound eyes narrowed in suspicion. Talk? You have us at your mercy, and you want to talk? Yes. Do-hyun turned to Dr. Yunha. Doctor, please show the Admiral what we brought. Dr. Yuna stepped forward. She was older than the others, with gray in her hair and wisdom in her eyes. She placed a small device on the floor. It projected a large hologram in the center of the bridge. This is the true historical record, Dr. Yuna explained. Not the version your leaders have been teaching for generations. The hologram showed scenes from 3,000 years ago. It showed massive space battles. Human ships, though fewer in number, unleashed terrible weapons. Entire fleets vanished in blinding light. Planets were scorched. Stars collapsed. This is what ended the last war, Dr. Yunha said quietly. Not our defeat, but our victory, and our horror at what victory cost. Zarkon stared at the images. These cannot be real. Commander Minji stepped forward. They are real, Admiral. I've seen the technical specs of the weapons we used back then. We had developed the ability to collapse stars into black holes, to tear holes in space itself, to destroy entire solar systems with a single command. Ensign Hana spoke up. But then we stopped. Zarkon looked confused. Stopped? Why would you stop if you were winning? Do-hyun sat down across from the Admiral. Because the cost was too high. Billions dead on both sides. Entire species pushed to the edge of extinction. We looked at what we had become, and we were ashamed. Dr. Yunha changed the hologram. Now it showed a peace conference. Humans sat on one side of a large table. Representatives from dozens of alien races sat on the other side. They all looked afraid. "This is the signing of the containment treaty," Dr. Yuna explained. "We asked for it, not because we were defeated, but because we needed time. Time to develop a better way. Time to become a species that could defend without destroying." Zarkon's officers had gathered around the hologram. They watched in stunned silence. "For 3,000 years, Do-hyun continued, we've focused our advancement not on weapons of destruction, but on defensive technologies, medical science, sustainable terraforming, and non-lethal combat systems." He gestured at their surroundings. "We could have destroyed your fleet today, Admiral, but not a single one of your crew has been harmed. Your ships are disabled, not destroyed. Your people will all go home alive." Zarkon's mandibles clicked slowly, a sign of deep thought. "If what you say is true, if these records are real, then our entire history has been a lie." Do-hyun nodded. "Not just yours. Many species in the galaxy have forgotten, or chosen, to forget what really happened. It was easier to think of humans as a contained threat than to remember how close the galaxy came to destruction, and who stopped it." He handed the alien admiral a data crystal. "This contains the true historical record as well as our terms for renewed peace. The choice is yours. Continue a war you cannot win or join us in building something better." Zarkon took the crystal. His clawed hand trembled slightly. "What are these terms?" "Simple ones," Do-hyun said. "The containment ends. Humanity will rejoin the galactic community. We will share our defensive technology, our medical advances, our environmental restoration techniques. In return, we ask only for peace," Minji added, "and a promise that the truth will be taught to all your people." Zarkon looked at the human delegation. "And if I refuse?" Do-hyun's expression remained calm. "Then we send you and your crews home, unharmed. We repair your ships, and we wait for you to return with an even bigger fleet." He leaned forward. "But ask yourself, Admiral, what would be the point? You've seen what we can do. You've seen that we could have destroyed you, but chose not to. Why continue a war that can only end in more suffering?" A young Ralvaxian officer stepped forward. "Admiral, I've been analyzing their technology. The way they disabled our ships, it's beyond anything in our science. They passed through our shields as if they weren't there." Another officer added, "And those dimensional gates they used. They've mastered space-time manipulation on a scale we can barely understand." Zarkon looked at his officers, then back at Do-hyun. How did you advance so far while contained to your small sector?" Do-hyun smiled slightly. "The containment was your idea, not ours. We agreed to it, but we never stopped developing. We just changed our focus. Instead of asking, how can we destroy more efficiently, we asked, how can we protect more completely?" Dr. Yunha added, "When you focus on defense rather than offense, you discover technologies that might otherwise remain hidden. Our dimensional physics, our quantum shielding, our medical breakthroughs, they all came from asking different questions than the rest of the galaxy." Ensign Hana, who had been quiet, suddenly spoke up. "Admiral, I've studied your culture. Your people value strength but also wisdom. The wisest path now is peace." Zarkon was silent for a long moment. Then, slowly, he stood. "Captain Kim, I must consult with my government, but—" He paused, seeming to struggle with the words. "I will recommend that they accept your terms." The tension on the bridge eased, slightly. Do-hyun nodded. "A wise decision, Admiral." "What happens now?" Zarkon asked. "Now we restore power to your ship," Do-hyun replied. "You can contact your leaders. While you do, representatives from both our species will meet with the Galactic Council. It's time for the galaxy to remember the truth." As the human delegation prepared to leave, a young Ralvaxian approached Captain Kim. "My grandfather died in the ancient war," the alien said. "Our histories taught us you were monsters to be feared, and eventually conquered. And now?" Do-hyun asked. The Ralvaxian's mandibles clicked softly, their expression of respect. "Now I understand what true strength is. Not the power to destroy, but the wisdom to choose not to. Do-Yun nodded. That wisdom cost us 3,000 years and countless lives to learn. Perhaps together we can build something that honors their sacrifice. As the humans returned to their shuttle, Minji walked beside Do-Yun. Do you think it worked? Will they accept peace? Do-Yun looked back at the Ralvaxian ship. They're not fools, Commander. They know they can't win. And now they know we don't want to destroy them. Yes, I think they'll accept peace. And the rest of the galaxy? Ensign Hana asked. Will they accept humanity's return? Dr. Yunha smiled at the young officer. They may fear us at first, but in time they will see what we've become. Not conquerors, but builders. Not destroyers, but protectors. The shuttle detached from the Ralvaxian flagship and headed back toward the Prometheus. Behind them, lights were coming back on in the alien vessel as power was restored. Earth Command. Reports the Galactic Council has called an emergency session, Minji said, checking her communications panel. They're requesting our presence. Do-Hyun nodded. Set course for the council station after we dock. It's time to rejoin the galaxy. As the shuttle approached the massive human vessel, Do-Hyun thought about the long journey that had brought humanity to this moment. 3,000 years ago, humans had been feared as monsters. Today they had shown the galaxy a better way. The war was over before it had truly begun, and a new era of peace was about to start. 1 month later, Captain Do-Hyun Kim stood in the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council. The massive room was filled with representatives from hundreds of species. Many looked nervous. Some seemed angry. A few appeared curious. Do-Hyun was not alone. Admiral Sunwoo stood beside him, along with Dr. Yunha and a diplomatic team led by Ambassador Tae-Woo Jang. They were the first humans to stand in this chamber in 3,000 years. The Ralvaxian delegation sat across the chamber. Admiral Zarkon was there, looking less proud than before. Next to him sat the Ralvaxian Supreme Leader, who had come to sign the new peace treaty personally. The head of the Galactic Council, an ancient Thulian named Vortel, called the meeting to order. His voice was soft but carried throughout the chamber. For 3 millennia, Vortel said, we have lived with a lie that said humans were contained because they were dangerous and defeated. Today, we correct that lie. Murmurs spread through the crowd. Vortel raised a hand for silence. I was young when the original treaty was signed, the old Thulian continued. I remember the truth. Humanity was not defeated. They were victorious. But they saw what victory had cost, and they chose a different path. He turned to the human delegation. Ambassador Tae-Woo, please address the council. Tae-Woo stepped forward. He was tall and dignified, with kind eyes and a calm voice. 3,000 years ago, he began, humanity faced a crossroads. Our technology had advanced to the point where we could destroy entire civilizations. We had won a devastating war, but the cost was too high. He looked around the chamber. We chose isolation not from weakness, but to prevent ourselves from becoming the monsters we feared we might become. Admiral Sunwoo took her turn to speak. In that time, we've developed technologies beyond anything you've imagined. We can harness the energy of black holes, manipulate subspace, and even transfer consciousness between dimensions. Gasps and whispers filled the chamber. She smiled slightly. But we've aimed these advancements at preservation, not destruction. She continued, our greatest achievements are not our weapons but our shields, not our war machines but our healing devices. Holographic displays appeared around the chamber. They showed human achievements, worlds transformed from barren rocks to garden paradises, medical techniques that could heal almost any injury, and energy systems that created no waste. Dr. Yuna explained, the containment treaty gave us time to mature as a species, to develop wisdom alongside our power. We no longer need it. Do-Hyun stepped forward. Humanity doesn't want war. We never did, but we will not be threatened again. His voice was firm, but not angry. The peace we offer now is not one of isolation, but of cooperation. We have much to teach and much to learn. A representative from a small insect-like species stood up. How can we trust you? How do we know you won't conquer us all, now that you're free? Do-Yun smiled. If conquest was our goal, we could have broken the treaty at any time in the past 3,000 years. We stayed contained by choice, not necessity, Ambassador Taewoo added. As proof of our intentions, we offer to share our defensive technology with all species, our medical advances, our environmental restoration techniques. We ask only for peace in return. The council chamber grew quiet as the aliens considered this. Finally, Admiral Zarkon stood. 1 month ago, the Ralvaxian said, I led a fleet to conquer Earth. I believed the lies I had been taught, that humans were weak, dangerous creatures who needed to be controlled. He clicked his mandibles in what humans now recognized as embarrassment. Was wrong, Zarkon continued. When they defeated my entire fleet, they did not destroy a single ship. They did not kill a single Ralvaxian. They showed mercy when they had every reason for vengeance. The Ralvaxian supreme leader stood next to Zarkon. The Ralvaxian Empire has reviewed the evidence. We have accepted the truth, and we have voted to accept the human peace offer. One by one, other representatives stood to speak. Some were suspicious. Others were eager for the advanced technology humans offered. A few seemed genuinely happy to welcome humanity back into the galactic community. After hours of debate, Vortel called for a vote. The results appeared on a large screen, 217 species, in favor of the new peace treaty, 31 against, 12 abstaining. The vote is clear, Vortel announced. The containment treaty is officially ended. Humanity is welcomed back into the galactic community. The signing ceremony was simple. Ambassador Taewoo and the Ralvaxian Supreme leader signed first, followed by representatives from the major powers. The document was not long, but its impact would change the galaxy forever. When it was done, Admiral Sunwoo turned to Captain Do-Yun. It's hard to believe. After 3,000 years, we're finally free to explore the stars again. Do-Yun nodded. Not just explore. Help. Teach. Learn. He looked around at the alien representatives. They've been stagnant in many ways, just as we might have been without the containment. Now we can all move forward together. As the formal proceedings ended, the chamber broke into smaller groups. Some alien representatives approached the humans cautiously, asking questions about their technology and culture. A young Ralvaxian officer, the same one who had spoken to Do-Hyun on the flagship, approached with a group of other young aliens from different species. Captain Kim, the Ralvaxian said, we have formed a study group. We wish to learn about human history, science, and philosophy, if your people are willing to teach us. Do-Hyun smiled. Of course, and we wish to learn from you as well. That's what peace is about. Growing together. As the diplomatic talks continued, Do-Hyun and his crew prepared to return to the Prometheus. Their mission was complete. The war that had barely begun was now officially over. On the shuttle back to their ship, Ensign Hana looked out at the stars with wonder. The whole galaxy is open to us now. Where will we go first? Everywhere, Dr. Yuna said simply. We have 3,000 years of exploration to catch up on. Commander Minji checked her datapad. Earth Command has already approved the construction of exploration vessels and research outposts and diplomatic stations. Do-Yun sat back and thought about the journey that had brought them here. It had begun with a war declaration, with aliens who thought humans would be easy prey. It had ended with a peace treaty, with those same aliens now eager to learn from humanity. 3,000 years ago, he said quietly, we learned we had the power to destroy. Today, we showed the galaxy we have the wisdom to build instead. As the shuttle approached the Prometheus, Do-Hyun could see the rest of the human fleet in formation. Around it, their ships no longer needed to hide in dimensional pockets. Their technology no longer needed to be kept secret. The galaxy had changed forever. The long containment was over, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars, not as conquerors but as teachers, not as destroyers but as builders. The 3,000-year peace had ended, but a new era of peace, true peace, based on understanding rather than fear, had just begun. ND.